Hi everybody, my name is KUNLE Pelemo. You can call me KP. I'm asking you to join me every Friday 5:30 p.m. GMT on the MHAASP show right here on MZ Radio London. It's a show where we talk about mental health and suicide prevention. Set a reminder for that. And just before I go, I want to let you know I care about your mental health. And you know what? Stick around right here on this station. Don't go nowhere. Happy New Year to you all. Yes, wishing you all the best in terms of blessing, prosperity, good health, and every good thing this year has to offer. From all of us on MZ Radio London and AP Radio UK. Welcome to the first edition of the MHAASP show on the first day of the year. Let's do it together, bigger and better this year. Thanks for always being there. Talking about our kids on the show today is not a bad idea because we consider their health and well-being important discourse on this show as well. As kids grow through different developmental stages, one of the issues they encounter is difficulty in managing emotions such as anger. They throw tantrums and engage in some unruly habits to cope. It is therefore important as parents, caregivers, teachers, and so on to learn how our kids can handle this issue. On the show today, we're discussing child anger management, and my guest is right here to do justice to the topic. Who is my guest on the show today? She's an educator, Montessori Directress, and a child counseling psychologist whose primary assignment is to help raise wholesome children by providing necessary education, information, and counsel. This particular vision of hers is born out of the fact that every child matter, or the way she puts it, children matter, and every child needs someone to talk to. The concentration areas cut across board from sex, drugs, bullying, peer pressure, social media influence, decision making, abuse, and sometimes the parenting style or methods they are exposed to. She also assists parents who are intentional with their children, parents who have questions, seek clarity, and are intent on getting it right as regards positive parenting. Welcome to the MHAASP show on MZ Radio London and AP Radio UK, Omozafe Oguh. Happy New Year, Omo. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Happy New Year, KUNLE. Happy New Year. It's good to be here.
Yeah, so good to have you. It's a pleasure. How's the New Year going in your area?
Very well, very well. We are eating a lot of banga, knockouts. Everybody's just happy, laid back, but is thankful.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I pray this year brings a whole lot of prosperity and blessing for you and your family, and for every of our listeners out there.
Yes, amen.
Okay, so going straight to the topic, we're talking about child anger management on the show today. First and foremost, can you tell us why it is important that parents and caregivers somehow should learn about child anger management?
It is key because as parents, as teachers, educators, caregivers, we have a sense of responsibility to that child. We need to ensure that we do not allow the child to continue that way. You know, for me, I'm about cognitive development, maths, English, and all of that, which is good, but I'm also about proper behavior. So we do not want a situation where a child is excelling in academics, but for, let's say, anger management, the child doesn't know how to behave properly. So being that we have a sense of responsibility to every child, we need to know how to handle them when they have when there's an outburst, when they throw tantrums, when they display in the manner that they should not. So that's like one of the first reasons. So we also have a sense of safety to every child, because there are some times that, especially when they are throwing tantrums, they don't even care about the environment. You see a child who just throw their self, hit their head, and, next thing there's an accident, they injure themselves. And we don't want that, especially for people who have like teachers, they're like 10, 12 children in the classroom, So we have to keep our children safe. And the only way that we can do that is know how to handle these kids when they are angry or when there's an outburst. It's also important that you know how to do this so that you don't end up behaving like the child also. Because I've seen parents or caregivers, the child is throwing a tantrum and the adult is also throwing a tantrum because they are like frustrated that the child is throwing a tantrum. So we have two people who are angry at the same time and acting in a manner that should not be, okay? So there is no sense of control, there is no order, everybody's it's just chaotic. The adult, the child.
Wow. Now, having said that, I mean, it's highly explicit what you just said, the reason why this topic is important. Let's profile the situation now. Why do kids throw tantrums or lash out and show some other behaviors as such as means of communicating their feelings?
Okay, I have to say this, that anger is first of all not even a bad thing, okay? Even the Bible says that it's fine for us to get angry, but the key thing here is what do we do with the anger? So if it is channeled right, channeled appropriately, then we can have positive results, okay? So anger is not first of all a bad thing. And sometimes these children act this way based on their age. My daughter is already throwing tantrums and she's a baby. Okay, so it's left for me to now know how to teach her to express herself without dragging everything in front of her and wanting to grab me and just to show that she's upset. So age plays. It's just the natural thing. Age has the factor here. Okay. Then as they grow, there's a part of the brain from when they are 2, they try to test limits, So when they act out. Please, I have to say that sometimes these children, they always know what they are doing. They always know what they are doing. So sometimes they're just like acting out to see how far they can actually get, acting out to see if they would actually get what they want, because they always know what they are doing. So that's another factor, and it would keep happening if it's happened before and they got the result that they were looking for.
Okay.
So it becomes like a pattern for them. If I scream, my mom does this, or my teacher does this. So they will keep screaming. If I get angry and I stamp my feet and I raise my voice, this is what is expected to happen. So it becomes like a sequence, and most times because people don't know how to respond to it, you just find out that they give in. So that child is not going to stop. It's only going to keep happening. So those are some of the things. Also, children learn by what they see. It's not a case of do what I say, It's if they see you behaving that way, they'll pick it up. So, we have children, parents who also throw tantrums, get angry, raise their voice, behave in a way that they should not behave. And our children are seeing all these things. So sometimes they even pick it up from their teachers, from their parents, from their caregivers. And they unfortunately have not been shown another way to express themselves. So they don't know any better. That might just be what they're used to and what works for them.
Okay. Now, what are the triggers that you can pinpoint that are really responsible for such behaviors in kids?
Most times, children behave that way when they want something and they cannot get it. Most times you find out that it's not even a need, it's a want.
Okay.
So if they've done it in the past and they've been obliged, or they've had their way, then it will become like a go-to for them. When they get a no, that's also a problem. Some kids, some parents feel, I'm not trying to throw shades or anything, but in some homes, they feel yes to everything is a way of showing love to a child.
To a
So once
child, yeah.
when that child gets a no, that's a big problem. I want it now. I've always had it. So why are you saying no? So that no, you see them, they will cough and they will cough. So if you have a child who has always had a yes at home going to school and the teacher says no, that's a problem because the child is not used to no. So there's an outburst, from the child. It can be over pampering, like with situations where there are no rules, there are no boundaries, there are no limits. So when all these things come into play, you get the child expressing themselves, angrily. Let me put it that way. So
Yeah.
yeah. So some of those things are the triggers for children, not being content, not being raised right, because we have situations like that in homes. Yeah.
Wow. 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 So, I mean, if you could see me now, I'm writing some things down. I'm jotting down because
Okay.
you're making a whole lot of sense. So, what we will talk about next now will be some anger management techniques you suggest for parents
Okay.
and caregivers, but that will be after this musical break. Let's take a breather right now, and then when we come back, the show continues. This is the song of Chinwe Binisa titled "Is Right Here." We'll be back shortly.
Don't need ladder to climb. You're on top of the hits. MC Radio London.
You're welcome back. That was the song of Chinwe Binisa, Is Right Here. I love that song. It's still the MHAASP show with KP on MZ Radio London and AP Radio UK. This is the New Year edition, and I have said Happy New Year to every of our listener out there. Thank you, and we pray that this year is a year of prosperity, blessing, good health, and a year of restoration in 100 folds for everybody who has lost one thing or the other in the outgone year. We are still on the MHAASP show, and we still have our guest in the studio with us, Omozafe Oguh, a child counseling psychologist, and we are discussing child anger management. So, what are the anger management techniques you suggest for parents and caregivers?
Okay, I have a couple I would like to share, but let me start with tantrums, since that is like the one that is leading. Let me use that word. So when your child is throwing a tantrum, like I said earlier, these children, they always know what they are doing. Okay, so the tantrum is a means to an end. So when your child is throwing a tantrum, you have to be calm. You're the adult, the caregiver, or the teacher. Do not begin to act like that child because you are frustrated. Okay, be calm. Take it easy. If you need to take a few moments to breathe, and then that is fine. Be calm. As the child is displaying and throwing themselves all over, begin to remove make the environment safe. Remove anything that might hurt the child. I remember a boy I taught a couple of years ago. Before the mom brought him into school, she asked to meet with me. And she told me, my son throws tantrums, serious one. So get ready for him. He throws tantrums. He will just throw himself like Superman, when he doesn't get what he wants. So please don't beat him. Don't shout at him. Just help me handle it. I sent her for that information, and I told her that she should not worry. I was going to nip it in the bud. So the first time he came into school and I asked him to do something he wanted to work with a material instead. And I insisted, because we're having circle time, that he sits with me. He just flew like Superman, like the mom had said. He actually threw a tantrum. So, and the thing is, they know, I'm always saying that they know what they are doing. So I just removed all the tables and all the chairs, anything that would hurt him. And I ignored him. I just said, look, we are here. We are waiting for you. Come and join us. Your friends are here. I told him, use your words. Talk to me. Use your words. Don't display. Use your words instead. But he kept, crying and everything. And when he saw that, it's how do we put it? Do not be a spectator, because they're acting out. So you're not part of the crowd. So when he saw that nobody was looking at him, nobody was, attending to him, we were doing our own thing, he just quietly gathered himself and sat down. I didn't say anything, no. I was watching him, but he didn't know that I was paying attention to him. He sat down, he cleaned his eyes, and, he joined them. The next day he came again, the same thing happened, he threw himself again. I removed everything, The thing happened the third day. The fourth time he came into school, he just came and sat down with us. And he never did tantrum again. And the mom came out like, what did you do? I said, you just need to know how to understand these children. It's not at that point in time when they are having an outburst that you begin to say, I've told you not to do this, don't do this. Even spanking will not work them. Because when you spank them, they will only cry. And that's what you're trying to avoid, the outbursts. It's like you just pouring fire. So just remove, make the environment safe. Tell them to use their words and tell them to, calm down. You can even change, remove them, because sometimes these children, they do it, in public, which is very embarrassing. So you can just take your child away. Maybe he's at the playground or at the cinema. Just carry your child, immediately from that place and take him into the car and get him to calm down. So spanking won't work at that time. You can also, there are calming techniques. There are a couple of them. It's important to communicate with your child, because every child is unique. Ask them what would work for them. Some kids, they like music, some like to draw, some would talk to you about it. Some, would prefer to work with activity materials, use their hands. So those are some of the things. Like for me, I like to write, or I like to listen to music when I'm upset. So that's what I do. So it happens in everyone. So you just have to help your child identify what works for the child. And that can only be done by communicating with that child. Another thing I like to do when I'm working with children is I redirect them. So if you cannot have ice cream, what would you rather have? These are your options. Please pick from these options. You're not going to get ice cream, but I'm going to give you either this. Which one do you want best? Which works for you? So stop being angry and stop crying because it's not going to work with me. Just speak and let's make this happen. So you see them like, okay, let me look for the one that, will make the most sense. So they've forgotten that they are angry and they are not, there's no output. They're now looking at what is available to them and they want to pick the one that is close to ice cream in their mind, or what they desire at that point in time. So that's redirection. You substitute one thing for another. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just attesting to what you said. I said the redirection technique.
That's a very good one for children because it's better than saying an outright no. Though sometimes you have to say no. Sometimes you have to put your foot down. It all depends on the situation. Okay. But there are also some times that you can be a little bit flexible. And instead of this, why don't we have this? So at the end of the day, everybody wins and there is no outburst. The anger is being controlled. And, everything is like a process. You do it today, you do it the next day. Just like the boy in my class who one day just came in and sat down and did not, do Superman on us that day. Just when that all these things, they begin to shed off in your children because basically we are training them. That's what we are doing. We're training them and grooming our children. When you're working with them, raising them, teaching them, you have to also establish actions and consequences for every behavior. Every child must understand that if this happens, then this is what will possibly happen, as a result of what you did. It's important to raise our children with actions and consequences. You do something right, then you get something right in return. Even if it's just a smile, it doesn't have to be one big thing. Even if it's just a hug, even if it's just, oh, you're my guy, or a high five, like I do with my daughter. But and when you act, in a manner that is not appropriate, then there's a consequence. It's all part of raising your child right. Wow. So it can be timeouts, it can be anything. Depends on the family dynamics anyway.
Wow, that's absolutely insightful. Absolutely insightful.
We have to lead by example. You cannot be telling your child to not do this, and the next thing you turn and you are doing the exact thing that you're
guilty of that same thing.
Yeah, because the model of our behavior.
That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. Okay, one more question in one more question. Okay. Now I look at the example you gave about the Superman child in code. Now it brings to my notice how important it is now for even teachers and maybe professional caregivers to learn about anger management. So how important do you think this topic is now for professional? How would you be able to reiterate the fact that it is important for teachers? Because sometimes you find out that some kids, some of them even spend most of the time with those caregivers in school. Yeah. So how important do you think these reiterate that fact so that every teacher out there also we need to a little bit learn about child anger management and the parents as well, before we go?
Okay, it is very, very, very important. It is key. You need to know how to handle all the emotions that you would face in the classroom. Because if the children in your class, they are angry, then they are not going to learn anything. They're not going to listen to you. So that it goes hand in hand. You cannot be teaching a child literature when he's vexed or when he's displaying or throwing a tantrum. So to actually do your job and do it effectively, you have to know how to handle every situation. So it's important that they learn all this so that they know what to do at every point in time. They know how to nip every situation in the bud. They know how to help these children, because sometimes the children, they don't even know any better. It's what they are used to. So if you come that way from your environment and you get better in the classroom, and that's great. That's a plus for the teacher. And that's for teachers that teach from their hearts. That's basically what they are about. Raising wholesome children, not just academics. So it's key, because that's how you actually get the job done with children.
Yes. Wow, that's wonderful. Just before we let you go, finally, and before we go on the show as well, I don't know if you have any information about maybe your handles that you want our listener to know. Yeah, maybe on social media. Now
Okay,
you
so
could be
but let me just say, can I say one last thing before I do that? Is that fine?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, so in our bid to get it right concerning anger management with children, we have to remember that we have to be patient with these children. It's not a one-time thing. So keep your cool and be patient. Remember that it's a process. So you're actually trying to undo what a child is used to. So be patient, commend good behavior. When the child does something right, please let them know, oh, great, you spoke today instead of screaming. That's excellent, and teach at the right time, not in the heat of the moment. Trying to tell the child how to behave. There's a time for everything. So you're doing it when the child is settled and the child is listening, not when the child is screaming or crying. And most importantly, carry the parent along or guardian. If it's the case of the parents, then carry the school along, so everybody's on the same page.
Wow,
everybody's wonderful. On the same page. And so my Instagram, it's Counsel, and on Facebook it's my name, which is Omozafe Oguh. On LinkedIn it's my name, which is Omozafe Oguh. So,
okay. Yeah. Wow, we can't thank you enough for coming on the show.
I hope I've been able to help out too.
It's been wonderful. And we hope if we call you again, definitely you will answer us. Is that a yes from you?
Definitely. Definitely.
Thank you very, very much.
Yes.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you. We've been on the show talking about child anger management with our child counseling psychologist, Omozafe Oguh, and it's been wonderful. Thanks to everybody who had been listening. Thanks to my producers on MZ Radio London and AP Radio UK, that's Mr. Soji Harmony and Ophiels, respectively. Until we come your way next week, I care about your mental health and I want you to stay mentally healthy. I will leave you with a song of JNC titled King of Kings. Bye.
Yeah! Everybody, put your hands together. He's a king of kings, and a Lord of love, bright and morning star. He's a great I am. He's a king of kings, and a Lord of love, bright and morning star. He's a great I am. Some people call him doctor, some people call him teacher, other people call him giver. He's the giver of life, the giver of peace, the giver of joy. I call him Savior, he came down.
Spreading love and understanding with the best music. MZ Radio London, station on the hill.
The great I am, your God alone. Hey guys, this is Sarah Tabo. I'm a UK-based worship leader and gospel artist, and you're listening to MZ Radio London, the station on the hill.
Station on the hill.